When Meat Loaf and the writer Jim Steinman started to rehearse songs in 1977 in the Ansonia Hotel in New York, their intention was to create a futuristic musical version of Peter Pan to be called Neverland. Instead, they ended up making the album Bat Out of Hell, a record that would spend 82 weeks in the US charts and an incredible 471 weeks in the UK charts. The singles 2 Out of 3 Ain't Bad, Paradise by the Dashboard Lights, and You Took the Words Right Out of My Mouth made an unlikely superstar of Meat Loaf. But the role of the overweight, sweaty, larger-than-life guy next door was a part he was literally born to play. It also took Meat to the pinnacle of success and back again, to bankruptcy, breakdown, recovery, and a subsequently hugely successful career, both in music and in his first love, acting. He was born Marvin Lee Day to a gospel-singing family in Dallas, a point some people would have you believe was of great importance.
Was the fact that I was born into a family with gospel music significant? No, because I didn't know I was born into a family that did, until after my mother died, to tell you the truth. My mother and her 2 older sisters, one played piano and sang, and the other 2 just sang. And it wasn't until after, you know, as I said, she died, that I'm going through this stuff, and I'm going, what is this? Why is this poster? And what is the Huckel sisters? And then my other aunt, who was their younger sister, said, oh yeah, your mother and them, they were called Wilma, Texie, and Cecil, by the way. Those were the sisters that sang, good old Texas names. She goes, oh yeah, they used to do this and that, and there was posters, and I said, no kidding. She goes, yes, they used to, Bing Crosby, because they lived in a small town in Texas, in the Panhandle. And Bing Crosby used to syndicate a radio show, and it used to go out on tape all over the country. But had no idea. And the other thing my mother used to say to me, boys, good thing you're not going to grow up to be a singer, because you can't carry a tune in a bucket. And I go, oh, okay. Well, there you go.
And history would record that Meat Loaf didn't listen to his mother. His early career was spent in bands such as Meat Loaf Soul and the duo Meat Loaf and Stoney, as well as appearances in various plays.
You know what, I'm truthfully not that interested in music. Really not. You think I'm kidding you, I'm putting you on. I'm really not. I'm more interested in the creative side of things. In other words, music is just another way of creating characters in a different scope. In other words, a different technique. So I'm not, I lied to you. I didn't mean to. I guess I'm interested in music because at some point around 1972, somebody said to me, boy, you can really sing. I said, I can? They went, yeah, and you're loud too. I said, oh yeah, I know that. And they went, no, you can sing. And so I guess that's really what interested in me in music, because somebody said to me, did you know you can sing? No. So I guess there was my interest. But really my interest was in acting. And so it's just another form, it's another form of acting. Well, I was in bands, yeah, but you know, when you were, back then it was a way of, what, making a little money and what, well, I didn't drink, so I couldn't say free booze, because that's Billy Joel's line. Billy Joel's line was, why'd you get into music? Hey, chicks, make a little money, and I got free booze when I played. Basically, I did it because I was a big ham. I did the attention dance. You know, it's like, you know, like little kids. If you watch kids that are 4 and 5 years old and they want attention, they do the attention dance. Ah, me. So that's kind of where, you know, I did the attention dance, and that's why I did it. Although I don't want the attention outside of performing. It's like, outside of performing, I go, leave me alone. I don't need you now. So I've never been the celebrity type. So I'm not interested in being a celebrity. I'm interested in my work. So I'm interested in my attention dance only.
Early appearances in musicals such as Hair led to Meat being cast by Jim Steinman in an off-Broadway musical he had written. Their relationship flourished, and soon work began on an album which at first no record company would touch.
We were aiming to sell 100,000 records so we could do another one. That's all I kept saying the whole time we were recording. Jim, do you think we'll do 100,000 records so we can make another one? Yeah, I think so, Meat. I think so. Yeah. You think so? I think so. Yeah, I think we should do 100,000 records. I mean, that's all we wanted, because back then, in 1975, 76, that was the standard for a record company to let you do another record, is you sold 100,000 records. And we did that. And I keep doing them. You could ask Jimmy what he was trying to achieve, but I don't believe that I've ever tried to achieve anything other than, well, now that's not true. I'm gonna give you one answer, then I'm gonna switch. I've never tried to achieve anything. I've never really been in competition with anyone but myself to try to make everything that I do be as perfect as I can. At some point on BAT, people kept saying to me, oh, this is not going to work. Nobody's going to buy this. And I kept looking at them going, you're wrong. Because we would go play live. And even though I go audience blind, I don't pay any attention to the audience. You get a feeling from them. You understand when they're connected with you. The audience's reaction to the songs and to me and to Jimmy were extraordinary. And record companies would come in, and we'd be playing to 225 people in little clubs downtown in the Village, and the record company would go, well, people don't react like this. These are just all your friends. And I go, I don't have any friends, man. Give me a break. I only work. And they go, no, that's all your friends. Don't be trying to convince us any other thing. We didn't know any of these people. And eventually, we sold out Carnegie Hall, and they still thought we sold out Carnegie Hall to all our friends, and the people were going crazy. And so I knew they were wrong. I knew that it touched. There was something about what Jimmy was doing, what I was doing, that was touching people. And so that's when I became driven. That's the only time in my life and it is to actually prove something. And I became very driven to go be able to look them straight in the eye and go, you were wrong.
And how wrong they were. Hailed as a rock opera classic, Bat Out of Hell quickly sold over 10 million copies in the US and UK alone. By 1986, however, Meat Loaf had been almost destroyed by the experience.
I went to a psychologist every day, 5 days a week. The only reason I didn't go on Saturdays because he wasn't working. And Sunday, he definitely had off. And I went 5 days a week for almost 5 months. Just to be able to, and the main topic was the fact that people wanted to call me a star. That was the main topic. And so finally, after a little over a year of narrowing it down to where I was just like going, once a month, he said to me, so how do you feel right now if I say that you're a star? And I said to him, well, okay, I can deal with it without being angry. How's that? And he goes, okay, you don't need to come back. So I went, okay. So I can deal with it now without becoming angry. So that's it. And then when we did Bat 2 or when, any success, I've learned to laugh at it as opposed to get wrapped up into it, as opposed to like, I took it very seriously. I mean, it's like, and now that it's like, there's some people that are like younger than me but have had a lot of success, and John Bon Jovi said to me, Meat, you just got to laugh at it. And I said, you're right, John. And so then, and John and I said at some awards one night, just laughing at everything that was going on. He goes, check that out. And it was, it was great. I mean, he was, he's like me, he's serious about his work, but then after that, it's like, okay, you got to laugh at it because it just is, it's hysterical. It's a stupid business. It's like, it's all about, and you were #1 last week, and now you're #4. We're not, it's like, okay, great. It's like, if you're #1, you're eventually going to be #4. That's what it is. So you just go up and down and you take it for what it's worth. And you don't take it too seriously. You take your work seriously, but everything else you just kind of go.
Life reached a low point for Meat Loaf in 1986. Steinman had filed suit against Epic Records and Meat for ownership of the album, a move which eventually bankrupted the singer.
Nowadays, I can't talk about Bat Out of Hell anymore because it doesn't belong to me. It's worth, calling up a restaurant and getting a reservation when they tell you you don't have any seatings at 8:15. And it's good for calling up, you know, the baseball game and saying, you know, I'd like to come down tonight. And I always tell them, look, I'll pay. I just want to know if you got any tickets. And they go, oh, no, we'll get you in. I go, no, I'm going to pay, because that's how I am. And it's good for getting in, you know, some sports games and at restaurants. And, you know, you can get some good house seats at theaters, you know, in the West End or on Broadway. Call them and say, Meat Loaf would like to come to see, you know, so-and-so. Oh, okay. And you get nice seats down, you know, the fourth, fifth row, kind of in the center, and it's good seats. So that's really what it's good for. And it's, you know, the fans like it to hear the songs.
Is one understatement of the day. But you have to ask why, what it was in those songs, those epic, gothic, operatic tales delivered with overblown bombast that touched and connected with so many people.
I think it's the same thing that people have connected with everything we've done. It's about them. It's not about us. The scope is not narrow. You create a whole thing. You create an atmosphere. And I said it, and then Michael Caine said it, so I'm going to quote Michael Caine. Michael Caine said, when you come to see a Michael Caine movie, I don't want you to see Michael Caine. I want you to be able to see yourself in the character I'm playing. It's the same way on a record. I want you to be able to, when you listen to that, see yourself inside that song. See yourself inside that situation. Live inside that moment. And that is my opinion, that we touched a broad scope and we enabled people to come inside.
Oddly, despite having fallen out with Steinman, the pair reunited to record Bat Out of Hell 2 in 1993. It was again a huge success, but this time just a part of Meat Loaf's life, which these days is increasingly focused on acting.
I don't pick anything that's not demanding. I demand, first of all, I won't, they are demanding roles, and because every role that I choose is not stereotypical, and I won't let them get that way. I've appeared in 44 films. I started as an actor. I've had 3 jobs. I consider 3. Well, I had 4. I had raising children, acting, either film or stage, singing on records, or doing live shows. And that's really what I do. So that's how I look at it. Those are my jobs, and I'm going to try to do the best I can do at all of those, and that's what counts. Oh, I've had superb roles. Some of them you don't know, and then really lucky that Fincher wanted me to do Fight Club, and that was really an extraordinary piece. I just did one in October on a movie called Hole in One, which is one of the most extraordinary and difficult characters I've done, because he had no redeeming factor. And I can always take every bad guy and make you feel something for him. And this guy was useless, because I killed an old guy with 78 years old with a rock. And I figured after that, this guy's got no redeeming qualities. Even though I went for him, man, I tried to make you feel sorry for me at the end of the movie. I don't think I succeeded, just because the character was just gosh darn despicable.
At this juncture, it's probably worth pointing out that if any of the answers given by Meat Loaf during the interview seem to contradict known facts about the man or matters of public record, well, there is a good reason.
In my work, I have no light. You know what my lighthearted relief is? When I'm in my room at night, like trying to, you know, make my fiance laugh, you know, by doing a funny dance, or by being a dog, or a sheep or something, you know, because I am a closet comedian. And my whole thing all the time is I want to make people laugh. So comedians, on the other hand, want to make people laugh, and then are really depressed human beings. I, on the other hand, am not a depressed human being, just want to make people laugh all the time. And so is a show. No, a show is not a lighthearted. It's far from that, you know. In my work, there is no lighthearted moments. I mean, there is. This is a lighthearted moment, but I even try to maintain a creative level when I'm doing these things, because you can learn, you can continually learn. Like, I don't care how many of these you do, I never do repeat the same thing twice. And that maintains a creative edge to make sure that you try to give different stories and different this and go this way and do. That's why, and you make up a lot of stuff. See, which also helps you be creative. And then people come and go, I read this. You go, you did? How would you read that? And then you go, I just made that up.
Well, as long as it's interesting. Fans of Meat Loaf's live shows, events, which at times are akin to a Meat Loaf love-in, might be surprised to hear, on stage, the view of the gig is a little different.
The only thing I need them for is they spent their, $35 or whatever it was. They bought the ticket. That's all that, after that they're required. It's not their job to love me. My job is to love them. That's not their job. They have no job. In that situation, they have no gig. They've done it. They bought the ticket. They're sitting in the seat. If they sat there all night and didn't applaud one time, I don't care. In fact, you know what? That's better. That means they're paying attention. Because I go, there's a specific technical term for what I'm saying, and I can't think of it. I just keep saying I'm audience blind. Because too many bands play to the first 10 rows and leave the rest of the house out. And the first rule in 101 in theater is you play to the back of the house. But in my show, I don't give them time to applaud. I don't hold for the applause. I break that rule of theater right away. Oh no, I'm not gonna bask in the glory here, folks. We're moving to the next song already. And so I have a whole nother outlook basically on everything I do creatively.
Okay, so if it isn't 1, for the money, 2, for the show, 3, for the readies, then what makes Meat go?
It should be the thing that attracts everybody every day to anything. To be better at what you do. If you're a plumber, to be a better plumber. If you're an electrician, be a better. If you're an interviewer, be a better interviewer. Just what attracts you to living. It should be to have better manners, to be a better person, to be kinder, to go when their light turns green. Because don't you just hate those people that just sit there at the light and you're behind them and you're gonna hurry? So anyway, I'm just kidding. So no, but to get better, to improve. It's like every show has to be better than the show before. Every scene has to be better than the scene before. Every day, really, I want to be a better day than the day before. And if you really honestly stop and think about that, that'll drive anybody.